Hey guys, today I'm going to be finally doing my video review of the Acer X35 Predator monitor. I'm going to be going over my likes, my dislikes. I'm going to be also showcasing some gameplay of some games that I haven't done on my channel yet that showcase the HDR display, the 200 Hz refresh rate, and just different picture settings that I've done for the monitor itself. So let's dive right in. So the biggest thing about this monitor when I was trying to choose between like this and like the CRG9 or the LG display that's coming out later this year, which I think has 165 Hz refresh rate, is the HDR, and not just HDR implementation. A lot of people are like, oh, what makes a monitor certified HDR? But this one has a max brightness of 1000 nits. Like, the monitor actually gets so bright at sometimes that if I'm not wearing these glasses, after like 30 or 45 minutes of gameplay, my eyes will actually start to like water or whatever. So a lot of different games have really good HDR implementation, especially a lot of the newer games. I have a gameplay video of Destiny 2 in one of my previous videos. You guys can go check that out. But also here I'm going to have some Hitman gameplay and some Battlefront gameplay, and like just even like Starfighter Assault or playing Darth Maul in the throne room in Naboo, everything just looks beautiful. Everything just looks very colorful. Also Hitman, when you're just walking through all these different buildings, all these different layouts, all the colors are just way more vibrant. It kind of adds like a whole different like level to gaming, where I mean, with gaming, there's always like different stuff that you can just make it better and better, like refresh rate, resolution, RTX. But I feel like HDR is like in a totally different like animal. It just like adds, like 8-bit HDR is like really nice, but like 10-bit HDR just adds like a whole, like I think it's 100 million plus colors that can just be seen on the screen. It just adds like a whole different level of like immersion. So even with games that aren't, let's say, HDR compatible, like Apex or like World of Warcraft or even Overwatch, with the 10-bit mode, it's not an HDR, but the colors really pop. One thing which I'm about to show right here that really bothers me is when you're playing a game, you can't just like, let's say, turn on HDR mode on Windows. When you turn on HDR mode on Windows, like right here, you put play, I'm turning it on right now, and the entire screen is just washed out. The color is just like absolutely terrible. And when you turn it off, that's when the monitor like goes back to normal. So actually, like when you're playing a game, you have to actually turn on HDR in the game and then restart the game, and not like after you do it the first time is fine, but when the game will actually turn on HDR when you're like playing the game. You don't want to do it on the desktop. And that was like really confusing me when I was playing at first. Like first game I got when I got the thing is I put in Destiny and turned on the HDR in the Windows, and the image like totally washed out. But I didn't realize that you couldn't turn it on here. That's an issue that Windows is having with like, compatibility with like games and developers and stuff like that. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go over is the refresh rate on the monitor. So obviously everybody knows for this monitor it has an aspect ratio of 21:9 with resolution of 3440 by 1440p. Right there is the native resolution. Obviously with DSR and all this stuff you can like do resolution upscaling or super sampling. But basically the thing about this monitor is this is like, I think the first time in a long time where we have gotten in kind of like a standstill of technology. So the monitor can actually reach up to 12-bit display. That's like the amount of colors that can go on the screen. So when I first got the monitor, I've been playing on the 8-bit mode, 200 Hz refresh rate. But you can't go higher than 8 bits because we have no DisplayPort cores that are powerful enough to transfer the bandwidth over from the GPU to the monitor. So if you would like to play, let's say, on the 10-bit mode, you actually have to, for now, you have to like turn it off, change the monitor to 144 Hz, and then the 10-bit mode opens up. Then I can click on the 10-bit mode. Then that's where I get access to a whole different array of colors. Then it goes the same with if I want to play at 100 Hz refresh rate. then I think that's when the 12-bit mode locks up. So there is a big difference between 144 hertz and 200 hertz. I definitely see it. Then I also see the difference between 10-bit and 8-bit. So it kind of always goes down to most people that get this monitor, it's an expensive monitor. So if you're getting this monitor, I would recommend you have at least a 2080 or up. I guess a 2070 would suffice, but if you're having a 2060, there's no reason you should be spending $2,500 on a monitor and then so little on the GPU. So even with a single GPU, you're not getting, when you're playing on max settings or whatever, you're not getting more than 150 hertz. And that's like rare, like, because on Battlefield you're only getting like 50 or 60 or 70, depending on if you have Nvidia. What is the RTX? Like the RTX features, like the reflections, the God rays, all that different stuff. So for any single GPU people out there, I definitely recommend the 10-bit 144 hertz mode. As I said, there's a huge difference between the 8-bit and the 10-bit. But I really recommend for single GPU modes to definitely use the 10-bit 144 hertz mode. So first thing I really like about this monitor compared to the X34 is on the back it was all buttons, and I can't like show it, but basically it's like kind of like an analog stick kind of thing you move, and that's how you like control all the picture settings. So for my picture settings, I personally like a really bright display, so I have the brightness set to 75. I have the contrast set to 55, blue light off, dark boost off, backlight response gaming, because most of the time on this computer, if I'm not doing schoolwork or work in general, I'm going to be doing gaming. SDR variable backlight on. I wanted to get really bright while I'm playing SDR games, because even though it's getting implemented in a lot of the newer games, a lot of the older games don't have HDR capabilities on it. Color settings, I have relative gamma set to plus 0.3 for the extra punch of brightness. SDR colors, sRGB off. Display on, because that's what I'm using, as I said before, most of the time. HDMI, not using HDMI, off. Color temperature, I have it set to normal. I didn't really see the point in changing it to anything else. Audio, I'm using my headphones, so I disregarded that setting. Gaming overdrive. So the weird thing about this setting is I don't even know why they put specific settings. So normal is what I use and what I recommend everybody that's getting this monitor to use, because if you turn it off, I played Overwatch with it one time, and it's like this terrible, like dream-like type like motion. Normal is, I guess, how like you just play like default, and then on stream you get these crazy artifacting during gaming. I have the monitor refreshed to 200 hertz, even though I use the 10-bit mode, 144 hertz, just in case sometimes if I'm playing a game like World of Warcraft or whatever, something where I know I can hit the 200, I have that specific setting on. Also, I have not used this mode. I mean, I can pull it up, but basically this aim point mode is while you're playing a game, you'll actually put like a reticle on the screen. Kind of cheap if you ask me. This is the time on the screen, how long it takes to turn off, the refresh rate number. I don't want anything that displayed. I use Nvidia's control panel for that. I have the input set to display port, and then I'm going to show the ambiance light. You can switch it between breathing, flashing, fixed, and I have it set on breathing and the Predator blue. That's what I've had it on for the longest. And then there's the save different settings: action, racing, sports. Okay, so another thing with this monitor when I was trying to decide on what I wanted to get was, this is one of the monitors that I think it's like one of the first implementations on a monitor of FALD display. For everybody that doesn't know, FALD stands for full array lighting dimming, and what that does is on normal monitors they have like the specific zones where the screen like darkens or whatever, but for this monitor it's like each like there's each like dimming zone for everything. So it's not, you're not able to reach like OLED levels of blacks, but you're able to reach like pretty good levels of blacks. So it's kind of hard to pick up on the camera right here, but when you move the mouse, there's like a terrible haloing thing, and it like annoys me a lot when I'm like turning on my computer and I just like move it. I'm seeing like all the white and stuff move across, and even right here with all the white text and the white bar is like haloing in each area. So the thing about it, like I'm about to start this like LCD test right now. So when the monitor like actually turns off, it's not OLED black, but like it looks like the monitor is like off. Also right here, with the haloing again, the white actually like starts to bleed out onto the display itself. Same thing with like right here. Even with the red, it's actually kind of easier to pick up than the white, but it actually picks up the tint of the red haloing. Same thing with the green. Same thing with the blue. And then right here, I really like to monitor like the color diversity and just like the different things that it's able to like showcase. It's like you're not just seeing the orange, you're seeing like it transfer over to yellow, and like the 10-bit like really showcases right here. And it's like a rainbow. It's actually so bright. I honestly should be putting on these glasses, but then right here it does pretty good like blacks and grays. Then right here, it's just really good with just colors in general, and that has to go with the FALD display. And I don't think HDR showcases right here, but it's really pretty. One of the big things that I've answered so many people back, but so many people keep commenting about it, is does the monitor have a very loud and audible fan in the back? And the answer is yes, it does. And the weird thing about it is, I remember when I was trying to decide between this monitor and the X37. Everybody doesn't know the X27, the 4K 144Hz display. That one I was like thinking about getting. Is that one actually had the fan on it too, but it got really loud and audible during gameplay when it was actually using the HDR display. For this monitor, it's totally different. When you're gaming, you're not hearing it at all. Not just because I have my gaming headphones on most of the time when I'm playing on this monitor, but because it's weird. It literally, it doesn't just like, it's not just like a hum that just like keeps going. It's like hum, then stops, hum, then it stops. It's like the most annoying thing, but it doesn't do it during gameplay. It does it when the monitor's in desktop mode, when I'm not gonna have my headphones on. And I wasn't really noticing it at first because my desktop is already pretty loud. I have like 6 or 7 fans. The CPU is liquid cooled, but all the other things are like audible fans. But I can still hear the monitor. And it's crazy when you're spending $2,500 on like, I guess, the state-of-the-art best monitor money can buy. I mean, okay, well, let me not say best monitor money can buy, because I mean, if you like 4K more, then that's like pick your poison or whatever. But this is an expensive monitor, and for what you're getting, it's really, I bought it with the student discount, and with the student discount on Acer.com, I think I saved like $400. But even with that, I can't in good conscience recommend it. I feel like the price of it go down. What you can get compared to it is like this, like an OLED. Like you can buy an OLED with this money. And for the longest, like people were telling me like, oh, OLED's better, OLED's better. And like I have an OLED now, and I'm gonna be doing some like gameplay videos about that. But like price comparative to just other stuff you can buy, it's not worth it. If you want the best and you have like the best money, then yes, I'd highly recommend it. But it's just there's just too many drawbacks with it. It has a VA panel. I understand why they couldn't get an IPS panel, because with the 200 Hz refresh rate and the 10-bit display and all the different stuff that they could fit it. So the VA had to be put in. Also, it's not really their fault that cord makers haven't made wires that can transfer over the data. So I will say this is the best monitor that I've ever played on, and I would highly recommend it if you have the money and you're willing to like spend the money on it. But I feel like by the time we get like the cord that can do the 10-bit, 200 Hertz refresh rate, this monitor might go down by at least $500, where it's at $2,000, which I would still consider a little overpriced, but that's where it reasonably should be, like the cost should be. I understand they've had this monitor in like R&D, research and development, for the past 2 years. It got announced all the way back in like 2017. So they probably put like a whole bunch of like scientists and all this stuff on the work on it, and it's a work of art. But for the price point it just has too many drawbacks for what it is. Thanks again for watching my video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing some more gameplay videos of it. I put some shots in this. Modern Warfare betas this weekend, so I think I might do some of that and release it later this week. Also going to, I'm not going to say exactly which OLED display I have until I play, but I'm going to be doing some gameplay videos like Xbox, PlayStation, PC on my OLED display. So thanks again for watching. Hope you guys have a good day. Also want to say thank you for my new cameraman, Quentin Moore, and my friend Amari as a creative director. Hope you guys have a good day.